Lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer death in the world. And recently, the incidence of lung cancer is gradually increasing day by day, and the tendency of smoking among women is increasing, so it has an impact on the incidence of lung cancer in female. You must know the causes of lung cancer. Hello friends, today I will discuss with you the causes of lung cancer, which is a leading cause of cancer death in the world. The causes of lung cancer are mostly environmental, and there is an interrelation between the causative agent and the susceptibility of the host. So the most common cause of lung cancer, as you all know, is smoking. Never smoker and smoker, there is a far difference, because the smoker has more than 20-fold increase in incidence of lung, and cigar and pipe smoker are slightly less risk of lung cancer than the cigarette or bidi smoker. There are two factors in smoking, like duration of smoking and the number of cigarettes. Both are important. A person who has started smoking in a very young age tend to be a chronic smoker in his late ages, and they tend to be a chronic smoker and they don't want to quit smoking, so they remain smoker. The duration of abstinence from smoking, like if a person don't smoke for a long period of time, then it gradually decreases the incidence of lung cancer. However, if a person don't smoke for even 40 years also, but they have more chances of developing lung cancer than a never smoker. So that's all about the duration of smoking and the amount of smoking. In 1950s, a concept came that the smoke a person inhale, we should reduce the amount of smoke, so then the concept of filter cigarette came. But it was not that effective. Then in 1960s, then it was introduced with ventilation hole. You know, cigarette will be containing small ventilation holes, so that the smoke the person inhales get diluted, and the effect, the bad effect of smoke in the lung of that person decreases. Then that ventilation holes also could not play that much important role, because I'll tell you in details later on, because the person hold the cigarette with finger and it blocks the ventilation hole. So the whole purpose of that hole for diluting the smoke does not serve its purpose. Then a concept came, like the tar and nicotine composition of the cigarette or bidi should be decreased, so that it cause less harm to the person. Then one machine was discovered which is called a smoking machine. It's sort of like a human body smokes cigarette or bidi. The same way this machine also smokes the cigarette. Then it can be measured, like the tar content, the nicotine content of that cigarette can be measured, and the yield of the cigarette, like what is the amount of yield it gives, so it can be measured by that machine. And by that machine we came to know that the even if we reduce the content, tar content or nicotine content of a cigarette, then also the biomarker of that cigarette inside the human body, it does not differ that much. I mean, A low tar content cigarette also, if a person smoke, then also the same amount of smoke or tar or nicotine is deposited in the respiratory epithelium or in the lungs of that person. Why it is so? Like we have reduced the tar content with the concept that that person will be less harmed, but it is not serving its purpose, because in that case that it seems that the person smokes more number of cigarettes. Secondly, the ventilation hole on the cigarette is blocked by the finger, and thirdly, the person take deeper puff while smoking. So our purpose for reducing the tar and nicotine does not serve its purpose. So let's come to the conclusion. Filtered cigarette lessen the risk slightly, and the low tar content cigarettes lessen the risk of lung cancer very slightly. So I have discussed about active smoking. Now come to passive smoking. I have already made a video on second hand smoke. You must have seen that video. In that video I have detailed about second hand smoke or passive smoke. Here two factors are there. One is environmental smoke, another is second hand smoke. See, if a spouse is a smoker, then that another spouse is having a risk of 30%, more than 30% risk of having lung cancer than a non-smoker marrying a non-smoker spouse. Now come to the second point. The second cause is diet. High fiber diet is very helpful. If a person take low fiber diet, it predisposes to many cancer like lung cancer. Fruits and vegetables like cruciferous vegetables, tomato, all these vegetables are helpful because it contains lots of antioxidant, which is micronutrient, very essential for our body. Then beta carotene, vitamin C are also important factor because they also protect against lung cancer. One thing we have to remember, alcohol increases the incidence of lung cancer. So third cause is environmental causes. Occupational exposure, like a person cooking in a coke oven, or exposed to nickel, chromium, arsenic, exposed to diesel exhaust in urban areas which exhaust from motor vehicles, they are more prone to develop lung cancer. Asbestosis, you know, it is a very important disease which predisposed to lung cancer, and a person who exposed to asbestos also a smoker, there is a deadly combination and there is an increased chance of lung cancer. Come to rays, X-rays. X-ray patient with like tuberculosis or ankylosing spondylitis or some other disease for which we do many X-rays, serial X-rays on that patient. That patient is also predisposed to lung cancer. Atomic bomb survivors, they were also exposed to rays like X-rays or gamma rays. They are more prone to develop cancers. Come to radon. Radon is a product of radium, you all know, and it decays with releasing of alpha particle, which causes DNA damage to the respiratory epithelium cells. And uranium miners who are exposed to this alpha particle, they are more prone to develop lung cancers. So you can say that exposure to lot of rays in our environment can lead to cancer. Now come to environmental exposure which results from smoke and dust and air pollution. Air pollution results from like industry, lot of exhaust, diesel exhaust in urban areas, then power plants. From there, a lot of pollution comes in the air, and exposure to that air can increase the risk of lung cancer. Even the proximity of house to a power plant or to industry can increase. The more the proximity of the house, more chances of getting cancer. Now come to exposure at home. See, we are not safe at our home also. Exposure to smoke, like if a person cooks in coke oven, then if the house is nearby some industry or some power plant, the polluted air can enter the house. Then even from underground soil, there some redden exposure can happen. Some particles can come in the air, and the person residing in a house, in a building, can be exposed. So that's all about air pollution and environmental pollution. The fourth point is host factor. There is a established familial tendency or genetic factor in case of lung cancer. If there is a family history, there is a risk of developing lung cancer. And lastly, some disease in the body can increase the risk of lung cancer. Like if a person is HIV infected, that person has more chance of getting lung cancer. Some acquired disease like COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, they are usually smoker. They have more tendency. Patient with pneumoconiosis, those patients also have more risk of lung cancer. So these all are the factors which play a role in case of lung cancer. You must have gone through the video and memorized all the causes, and I think this will be helpful for you. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching.